जब से बने हैं प्रभु तुम्हारे, ये जीवन अच्छा लगता है। यादों में तेरी मस्ती चढ़ी है, यादों में तेरी मस्ती चढ़ी है। सब कुछ अच्छा लगता है। जब से बने हैं प्रभु तुम्हारे, ये जीवन अच्छा
Om Shanti. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So this evening we're reviewing Baba's Murli that was read on Sunday, and it was spoken on the 30th of November, 2010. And Baba is talking about how to discipline our minds, how to exercise the mind to keep it stable and to stop it from going into all the different directions. But why was he telling us that? Why was it necessary for us to do this? And he was saying because becoming a Brahmin, we have made Baba our world. It's this small world of Brahmins. And in order to stay in Baba's world, we need to make our sanskaras the same as Baba's. So when you're living in a world, you absorb the personality traits of everyone living in this world with you, and you are also contributing to the world through your sanskaras. So Baba is saying, now that we've moved into this world, Baba's world, the Father's world, we have to pay attention to inculcating the sanskaras the same as the Father. So then he talked about the 5 forms. And if we are able to exercise the mind and to have the mind experience the specialty of each of these 5 forms, then each form will take us to the inculcation of the sanskaras that are the same as the Father's. So the reason we have to pay attention to these 5 forms is each of the 5 forms, they have the sanskaras of the Father. And so he said that these 5 forms have been remembered on the path of devotion as the 5 faces of Brahma Baba. So the 5 faces of Brahma. Brahma has 4 faces facing the 4 corners of the world, but he has a face on top of his head facing upward, facing the home. So the memorial of these 5 forms are the 5 faces of Brahma Baba. So Baba is saying that to discipline this mind and to keep it stable is that whatever you think about, you should experience what you're thinking in your mind. Right? So the mind has got 2 qualities or 2 functions. One, it thinks, and the second, it experiences. So that's why the mind is so fickle, because the mind enjoys the experiences based on the senses. So that's why the mind is fickle, because it enjoys eating, it enjoys the tastes, it experiences the taste, it enjoys fragrances, smell, it enjoys touch. So the mind thinks, but the mind also experiences. And so the mind then becomes either stable or fickle based on what it is experiencing. So Baba says that if we were to pay attention to these 5 forms, then we would be able to stabilize the mind. But the mind would also be stable on the basis of the experience of the five forms. So I looked at these five forms in relation to how Baba presented them, but as I was churning on them, I also thought about not only the form, not only the specialty, because he was saying you need to experience the specialty of the form, but I also looked at the experience of the form in relation to what world does this form take me into, and what is the experience in terms of the sanskaras? What sanskaras is this particular form emerging from within me? Because if the theme of the Murli was, as are your sanskaras, such as is your world, such will be your sanskaras, sansar and sanskar, then also within the experience of the five forms, there's a world that I experience, and there are sanskaras that emerge when I'm in the experience of the form. So let's take the example of the first form that Baba asked us to experiment with. So he's saying the first form is being a point of light. The first form is my incorporeal form. So he says, when you see yourself as a point of light, he says, bring that in front of you. When he uses the term bring it in front of you, he is saying, become aware of it, remember it, bring it into your awareness. So now I am aware. I am a point of light. Are you aware? Are you practicing it? I am a point of light. Bring that in your awareness. He says, but you're also, the specialty of it is that you are lovely. This point of light is very lovely. It's sparkling. It's beautiful. It is unique to you. So that's the specialty. Then, which world are you in when you're experiencing yourself as an incorporeal being of light? You're in the home, right? You're in the incorporeal world. You're in Shantidham, the land of peace. You're in silence. So that's the world you're in. And so the specialty of being in that world is that you are in total peace. So that's the sanskara that would emerge. The sanskara of the three Om Shantis. The sanskara of the soul's nature is peace. The soul's intrinsic quality of being in the home is peace. The soul only experiences pure peace when it's in the home, only peace. The second Om Shanti is the soul is connected to Baba, the ocean of peace. And the third is the soul is in its home of peace and quiet. So those would be the sanskaras that would emerge. But also, when Baba talks about being incorporeal, being this point of light, there are three other sanskaras that I'm aware of. One is being incorporeal, one is being egoless, and one is being viceless. So that is what I'm experiencing when I'm in that first form of being a point of light. The second form, he says, is your deity form. Bring your deity form into your awareness. When you are aware of your deity form, what is it? What is the specialty you're experiencing? Baba told you, you're lovely, you're unique. But what also emerges when you're in the awareness of your deity form is your perfection. That's the specialty of the deity form. Perfection emerges into you. You see the possibility that, gosh, Baba is telling me I can become a deity, and deities are perfect. So there is this possibility that I too can be a deity. Even if I'm not feeling it, I am aware of that possibility of becoming a deity. But what is it that you're experiencing? Where is the world? Where is that awareness taking you to? Which world is it taking you to? It's the world that Baba himself created and Baba infused with all his sanskaras, his eternal sanskaras, his powers, his virtues, his treasures, and his sanskaras. And it is called heaven. So you're experiencing that world of heaven, and the sanskaras that are then emerging are your divine sanskaras, which would be happiness or joy, prosperity, living a life of Satupradhan, liberation in life, truth. It would be love. It would be all these divine qualities you become aware of that would emerge when you think of being a deity. Those divine sanskaras will emerge. Then Baba talked of the third form, which is the worthy of worship form. Now, if you were to visualize, and I think at some point of time, I hope you have, you would look and say, in which form do my devotees remember me? What is the form that my devotees invoked in the Copper Age? And sometimes it could be the form of a goddess. Now, it doesn't always have to be a goddess from India. It could be a Greek goddess. It could be an Egyptian goddess. It could be an Iranian goddess, a Persian goddess, because throughout history, throughout all cultures, goddesses are remembered. In Southeast Asia, there's so many goddesses. The goddess of hope in Vietnam, the goddess of compassion. So there are goddesses all over, there are angels all over that you may say, well, this is my memorial. But what are the sanskaras that get emerged in your being worthy of worship would be very interesting, because the world in which you are worthy of worship is a world of duality. And so people were in this state of duality when they invoked your worthy of worship form. And what they were invoking is what they took from you now at the confluence age. The way you served them now is what they will be invoking from you in the Copper Age, and they will create that memorial of you based on how you serve them now. And so in this world, this worthy of worship, the sanskaras that would emerge within you would be looking at your devotees, looking at the souls crying out in sorrow, wanting to be relieved of their sorrow, of their pain, of their grief, of their anxiety. And you would then want to be an instrument of Baba to fulfill the things that they're asking Baba for. So you would want to be a master bestower, Those are sanskaras that would emerge. You would be merciful. You would be compassionate. Those are the sanskaras in your worthy of worship form that would emerge because you're at the confluence age, which is the meeting of the two, the iron and the golden. So even though we're at the confluence age, we're still looking at the duality that started from the copper age. But it is now that we are serving them, not in the copper age. And then the fourth form is our confluence aged Brahmin life. When I'm in my current form, the form of being a Brahma Kumar or a Kumari, what is the specialty, first of all, that the mind would experience when I'm in that form? How do you see yourself? Because it's happening now. You're seeing yourself now as a Brahmin. So what is the specialty that you see in yourself? What is it that the mind would experience when it thinks of itself as a Brahmin? Now, what you would think of yourself is that I'm an effort-making soul. I'm making effort. And when I'm in that awareness of being a Brahmin, the one who's making effort, what am I making effort for? What is your life? What are you making effort for? Why do you listen to the review of the Murli? You're a Brahmin now listening to the reviewing of the Murli. Why? It is because you want to become like Baba. You want to get closer to Baba. You know you can have a direct link to Baba. You know that you have direct access to Baba. You know that you can experience an inheritance from Baba in a real living way. So all of those are specialties of being a Brahmin. And that's what the mind is seeking. And the mind wants to experience. And being a Brahmin is a very, very real, it's a real-time experience for the mind. It's not going into the future. It's not thinking of the middling period, but it's a real-time experience that the soul is having, the mind is having. Being a Brahmin, you know you're at the confluence age. You know it's a time of transformation, but it's equally a time of benevolence. You know it's the dawn, when light and darkness meets, when old and new meets. So all these things, the mind is fascinated by all these specialties of being a Brahmin in a time that is so full of specialties. And the sanskaras that emerge would be sanskaras of my likeness to God. Sanskaras of what is eternally inside of me that makes me connect to the sanskaras of my father. Now, each relationship I have with Baba, there are different sanskaras in that relationship. And as a Brahmin, I can have whatever relationship I want with Baba. And through those relationships, my sanskaras are then formed. And then the fifth one is the angelic stage, the angelic form. The world that I experience my angelic form in is a subtle world.
ज्ञानी बनो योगी जीवन है प्यारा योगी बनो ज्ञानी बनो योगी जीवन है प्यारा काम क्रोध मद लोभ मोह वश आज है सब मोहताज। योग लगा कर पाप मिटा ले, स्वर्ग सजा ले तू आज। काम क्रोध मद लोभ मोह वश आज है सब मोहताज। योग लगा कर पाप मिटा ले, स्वर्ग सजा ले तू आज।
जन्म जन्म की प्यास बुझा ले, पावन बन कर आज।
योगी बनो ज्ञानी बनो, योगी जीवन है प्यारा।
संगम युग में परम पिता शिव कहते हैं राज।
तू है एक अविनाशी आत्मा, सुन लो मेरी आवाज।
संगम युग में परम पिता शिव कहते हैं राज।
तू है एक अविनाशी आत्मा, सुन लो मेरी आवाज।
सुख शांति और पावनता से झोले भर लो आज।
योगी बनो ज्ञानी बनो, योगी जीवन है प्यारा।
परम धाम से आए हैं शिव ब्रह्मा तन आधार। मुक्ति और जीवन मुक्ति का जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार। परम धाम से आए हैं शिव ब्रह्मा तन आधार। मुक्ति और जीवन मुक्ति का जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार।
चलना है चलना है घर वापस, अब तो यही ज्ञान का सार। योगी बनो ज्ञानी बनो, योगी जीवन है प्यारा। योगी जीवन है प्यारा, योगी जीवन है प्यारा।
So the fifth form is my angelic form. The angelic form, I experience it in the angelic region, but it is a subtle form. It's a Avyakt form. So what is the specialty of my angelic form is that I experience at the confluence age a purity of body and a purity of soul. Because my angelic costume, which is a body of light, is pure. It's pure white, it's white light. It's a body I adopt when I think of Bapdada in the subtle regions as an angel. And the specialty of that form is purity. But what are the sanskaras that get emerge when I am in the subtle form, in the subtle region with Baba? It is then I can be used as an instrument for Sakash. The sanskaras of Baba's love, Baba's light, Baba's Shakti, I become aware of those when I am in the angelic form. But more than that, it is this Mansa Seva that Baba is asking us to do, which is pure feelings, elevated thoughts, and good wishes. It is only when I'm in the angelic stage and form can I do Mansa Seva. So these are all the specialties of these 5 forms. They're the sanskaras that I need to be aware of, that the forms emerge from within me. It's the different dimensions or world that these experiences are happening in. And they are forms that Baba says are very important to use to exercise the mind. He's saying it is not enough to just exercise the mind, but the mind has to experience something. There has to be a specialty that the mind hooks into when it is doing its exercise. It needs to feel benefit. So otherwise, he says, the mind will never be able to be constant and stable. The mind will be hijacked by the senses, and the senses will then take that mind for fulfillment into many different directions. Because the mind is trapped by the senses. And so I have to feed the mind with exercises that will bring it benefit, that would constantly be bringing it benefit. And so the mind then becomes constant and it becomes stable. And he was telling us these exercises connected to the 5 forms are able to do that for us. Now, did any of you practice it? Because he told us what to do. On Sunday, he told us what we should be doing to stabilize our minds. Did we remember to do anything that he said? All right, so let's review what he said. Every spiritual knowledge or point of knowledge Baba gives us, it's actually grounded in practice. The only way I'll be able to inculcate that point and experience that point is if I ground it in my practice. And grounding it in a practice means I have to do it while I am living my life throughout the day. I have to remember to set a tone in my soul and not just be consumed by what's happening outside of me, but I have to be grounded in the experiences inside of me, because that's where power comes from. So he was saying the practice that we need to do was to exercise the mind with these 5 forms throughout the day in order to make the mind not just good, but strong. Good means I won't have waste thoughts. I won't have negative thoughts. I won't have critical thoughts. And that's a good mind. But along with being good, he says the mind will become strong. So periodically throughout the day, what he wants us to do, bring the form incorporeal, deity, worthy of worship, Brahman, or angelic, bring one of those forms. And when Baba says in front of you, he means in your awareness. And then he wants us to experience the specialty of that form. Did you do that? You brought the form into your awareness. You remember to do it, but did you do it? And if you did it, did you bring the form into your awareness? You held it there, and then you connect to the specialty of the form? Hard? Difficult? I'm getting blank looks. All your looks are blank. So this was what he asked us to do. Now, he said, once you bring it in and you connect to the specialty of that form, He wants us to hold that form and the specialty. And he wants us to concentrate on that particular form for 1 second. 1 second. Right? So you hold it in your mind for 1 second, and then you gradually move it from 1 second to 2 seconds to 3 seconds to 4 seconds to 5 seconds. Because he knows after 5 seconds, my mind will drift. That's called concentration. Just for 5 seconds, he wants us to hold the form and the specialty that's connected to the form for 5 seconds. What he equally wanted us to do was to do it every hour. He wants for us to do it every hour. He wants us to practice these 5 forms. So he says, do the drill of each form every hour, holding each form for 5 seconds. So it means 25 seconds for all 5 forms. Did you get it? Then he says, gradually move it from 5 seconds to 10 seconds for each form, 15, 20, 25, until you get it to a minute. Then every hour, spend 5 minutes bringing each form for 1 minute and connecting to the specialty in that form. So you're gradually moving from 5 seconds to a minute, and you're taking that minute and making it 5 minutes because you're experimenting with a particular form for every minute. Now, did you get it? Did you understand how he's asking you to practice or no? It was very simple, right? It was very, very simple. Good, Andrew got it. So she's telling us she did it. Now, what he says is that when we do this, we keep the mind busy. But we're keeping the mind busy in a controlled environment that we want that mind to be in. And this is a spiritual exercise. It's just like when you're doing exercises with your body, you have to put it in a controlled environment to do it. And so he's saying then you're building capacity in the mind. But he says that what does he see us doing? We want to practice, we want to exercise these 5 forms. We start off doing it, but then we're not able to keep our minds in that controlled environment. And the mind is like a horse, it runs out of the stable and it gallops in all different directions. But what he's saying, that we should be able to concentrate our mind on one of those forms for as long as we want, without wasteful or incorrect thoughts running wild. And he says, why they run wild? It's because there's a deep carelessness in our minds. The mind has subtle and deep carelessness. So we're not able to direct the mind in the ways we want the mind to go. So Baba is saying he wants us to experience this controlling of the mind and ruling of the mind by practicing these 5 forms every hour, starting with 5 seconds and building up to 5 minutes every hour. And then we will be able to keep the mind in the direction that we want that mind to be in. Now he's saying it's not that you have to sit and do this all day. Taking 5 minutes out of your work, it doesn't mean you stop doing your work. You come back to that work after your 5 minutes and you continue to do whatever work you're doing or whatever seva you're doing. You come back and you continue as a karma yoga, because he says that when you are able to do this, practice the 5 forms, then come back into action, your actions will carry the intoxication of that stage or the 5 forms that you practice. So there will be the beauty of these 5 forms in the actions that you're doing, so you won't get tired of your actions. And the actions will carry the power of the forms that you experience. And remember, they're also touching on specialties, but they're also touching on your sanskaras. So you're bringing your whole being through the mind into the work that you're doing. And that work then carries the intoxication of your own purity, of your own spirit, and then it touches that in others. Now, Baba says, if we do this with the mind, and we practice this, and we are able to concentrate on the 5 forms and the specialties of the 5 forms and the sanskaras that they emerge, it is only then that we will get to a point in which we could practice manabhav. Because the practice, the exercising of the mind with these 5 forms bring the mind into an essence. It takes away the expansive mind. It takes away the extensive thinking, and it brings it to a concentrated way of thinking. And so he says, then he says, we will be able to do what he's saying, put that full stop. The mind will then have the stability, the strength, the goodness within it to put that full stop. And he says, the more I'm able to put the full stop, it is then the practice of manmanabhav will become easy for me. So I can't do manmanabhav if I don't practice these 5 forms. That is what I'm understanding from what he's saying. Because he says this mantra of manabhav and the experience that comes from the 5 forms that the mind will carry to practice the manmanabhav, that then becomes, the manmanabhav becomes a weapon through which we can conquer Maya. Be mind with your mind. Now, it takes a lot of consistency and stability of a mind to surrender to Baba without being distracted. So Baba says this is called transformation of the mind. And we tell people a lot, when we give our lectures, we talk a lot about transformation. But he's saying that you cannot transform anything unless you make your mind powerful. And powerful isn't positive thinking. It isn't the suppression of my negative thoughts and the creation of a positive temporary thought. That is not called powerful. See, he's saying powerful means those form. And it means I can create whatever thought I want at whatever time I want to. And the negative thoughts wouldn't cancel out those powerful thoughts, whereas negative thoughts could cancel out positive thoughts. Because the foundation for the positive thoughts is not powerful. But the foundation of powerful thoughts would come from the practicing of those 5 forms. So he says, just as how you could direct your hand, put it up, put it down, put it sideways, in the same way, you should be able to be working with your mind. Say to the mind, this is an incorrect thought. This is a wasteful thought. You can't have it. And that is what he says. If you can do that, you are a master of your mind. You become a master of your mind. So he was saying now, how does Baba help us? He was saying that he tells us to do all these things, but he also helps us. But are we taking his help? Do we know how to take Baba's help? So he says, when we refer to the mind, we say, my mind. We say, my mind should be in order. So he says, your mind will be in order to the extent that you make that mind powerful, to the extent that you exercise that mind, to the extent that you experience attainments from the exercising that you put the mind through. So to that extent, you will be able to control that thing that you refer to as mine, my mind. So he's saying that this is what the world remembers as conquering the mind. If you can conquer your mind, you are able to conquer the world. But he says that saying came from the practice that Baba told us to do to stabilize our mind. And this practice, once we're grounded in the practice, and he's telling us to do it for 6 months. He says after 6 months, it becomes something natural. You will be able to stabilize your mind whenever you want, because the mind will become so powerful that he says one thought that comes from that powerful mind will direct my intellect and my sanskaras wherever that thought wants the mind and the sanskaras to go into. So the power of one thought, as we are hearing, doesn't come just like that. It comes from the practicing of the 5 forms. And it comes from a stability that the mind gets with the specialties, with the emergence of the sanskaras connected to those 5 forms. So Baba is saying that if we can do this, we will definitely be called conquerors of the mind, conquerors of the world. Because this word mine, he says, has performed many, many wonders. And so when we say my Baba, this is how Baba helps us. When we say my Baba, my sweet Baba, my lovely Baba, my beautiful Baba, the Father responds as my children. So this word my and mine can do wonders too. So he says that, but from the Copper Age onwards, we have been saying, Maya has been saying to us, my children. I have conquered these children. And so he says, we responded to Maya's my, and we became trapped by Maya for half a cycle. So it is not easy for Maya to relinquish her love, her hold on us that easily. And so she would repeatedly find ways to influence us. And Maya leads us into temptations very easily. Right? How many times Maya influences us into temptations during just one day? And if I don't have a discipline for the mind, I'm going to go down the road of Maya's temptation. But Baba says the only way to get rid of Maya's stronghold on us is to continue saying, my Baba. So he says, when we say my Baba from our hearts, we receive Baba's cooperation. That means we receive Baba's help. We receive Baba's subtle signals. We remember something from the Murli that Baba tells us that we should be doing. So he says that you say my Baba just once from your heart, Baba will help you 1,000-fold. He will give you 1,000-fold help in the form of cooperation. And so he says, now, once you receive that help, and once you have experienced Baba's help, you need to put it into your practical form at the right time. You can't procrastinate. You can't wait for later. You can't wait and see in this respect. But as soon as you receive Baba's help and you know what you should be doing in that moment, do it. Do it in the moment you receive his help. So Baba is saying that he wants us now to understand that sanskaras can be erased. Sometimes we say that our impure sanskaras are not erased, our impure sanskaras are suppressed into our subconscious, and come the copper age, those impure sanskaras will start emerging. But Baba made it very clear in Sunday's Murli that we can erase those sanskaras that create the obstacles for us. And those sanskaras will be erased through this practice of the 5 forms, through the manmanabhav that the 5 forms would lead us to practice naturally. So he was saying, in order to remove these sanskaras that create the obstacles for us, we need to do that with determination. And this is where he brings in now this whole thing about having determination in our thoughts. Now, a weak soul cannot have determination in their thoughts. A soul who has exercised the mind through the 5 forms exercises will then be able to have determination in the mind. Determination is not stubbornness, but determination is a natural flow of pure and positive thoughts. And when that mind becomes strong and is only having pure and positive thoughts, then that's called determination. So Baba is saying we have to have these determination to finish those sanskaras that are within us that are creating obstacles for us. And so a determined mind will never procrastinate. A determined mind will never create a thought of will. I will do it. I will think about it. I will see about it later. But a determined mind would say, I have to do it. If I want to do it, do it. Just do it. It would not procrastinate. And so Baba says, the sanskaras will come. It is almost as if it's the duty of the sanskaras to come. But it is equally the duty of the effort-making children to finish it. Otherwise, what effort am I making? If I cannot finish the sanskaras, then what is the effort I'm making? So the effort is to finish those sanskaras. But Baba says it requires you to have courage, a courage to change, a courage to do what is right at the time it needs to be done. And so Baba was Baba was asking us to check that, am I doing everything practically according to the thoughts that Baba is feeding into us? Now, when we listen to knowledge, when we listen to the Murli, it is as if Baba is taking those points of knowledge and feeding the soul with thoughts. Drop by drop, the thoughts are coming into me. So he's saying it is the Father's duty to give you an aim and object every day, to give us an aim by which to live. But what is the duty of the children? The duty of the children is to follow what Baba is telling us to do. And so he says, now this is the alignment he wants us to bring about. And we need to fix a date. We need to fix a date to finish those sanskaras that's creating obstacles. And we need to fix a date to consistently be working on this alignment between what Baba is asking us to do and how my mind is thinking in relation to what he's telling me to do. How am I thinking about what Baba is asking me to do? And fix a date and come back to him and say, Baba, I've done this. Then he's going to celebrate our victory. And so he was saying that he was talking to the first timers, and he was saying to them, even though they came late, they also have a chance to come first. But what would be required from them is, and all of us, is to pay double attention. Pay double attention, that means double intense effort making, as he would tell the double foreigners. Now he says that the way that victory will be celebrated, it's not that we will tell him, Baba, I was able to do this, and I set 6 months. You told me to do it in 6 months, and I was able to do it in 6 months. And I'm telling him because I checked myself and I felt I did it very well. But he says, no, others will have to verify it for you. Because you're interacting with others, whatever changes you have made internally, they will be able to pick up on it. And they will give you the certificate as well. So I will give myself the certificate, but if others don't give me, there is no verification of my change. So he was saying that will happen, and we are Master Almighty authorities, and a Master Almighty authority means that I have to control my thoughts. It's one who has power over their thoughts. That is what a Master Almighty authority means. So he was saying that he's with us, the family is with us, and so the center is with us. So it should be very easy for us to make this effort and for us to achieve what Baba wants us to achieve. And then he was saying that, he said something very beautiful to end the Murli with. He says that at Amrit Vela, as he said in this morning's Murli, that's the time when Baba is very pleased with us. It's, someone asked me, why don't you do Sakash? Why don't you give Sakash at Amrit Vela? I said, I won't give Sakash at Amrit Vela because Amrit Vela is a time when Baba is telling me, I'm here for you and you alone. Why would I want to bring others when Baba is with me alone? So I want to spend the whole of Amrit Vela only with Baba. In the evening, I will do Sakash and be the instrument for Sakash, and I will be doing Mansa Seva. But in Amrit Vela, it's just me and Baba and no one else. And he was saying that he does so much for us at that time. So he was saying at the end of the Murli that when we speak to Baba at Amrit Vela, we speak to him with so much of enthusiasm in our hearts. And then Baba would, praise his children, Vaha children, Vaha. And he says he gives every child, whether old or new, what does he give us at Amrit Vela? Lots and lots and lots of blessings from his heart. So how much help Baba gives us to do these things that he knows might be very difficult for us to do. He's saying, just turn to me and say, my Baba, from your heart, I will give you the cooperation you need to practice those 5 forms, to stabilize your mind, to make that mind so concentrated that it could practice Manmanabhav easily, it could put a full stop easily. Then he's saying that you come to me now at Amrit Vela. And Baba gives us lots and lots and lots of blessings. And he gives us those blessings from his heart because he says, with those blessings that he gives us at Amrit Vela, when we take one step with that courage, Baba gives us 1,000 steps of help. And why he does that? Because he knows that the time is becoming shorter and shorter. It's moving quicker and quicker. And because of the rapid transformation that is occurring within time itself, Baba knows that his children need to have that extra lift from him. And he gives it to us at Amrit Vela. He's available to us throughout the whole day. When we call on him as my Baba, he's there to help us with his cooperation. So what more do we want from Baba? What more can he do for us in order to stabilize our mind? So how about that for the Murli? Did you enjoy the Murli revision? Did you see those points the way I saw it? Now, what are you going to do tomorrow? How are you going to practice this tomorrow? Because every time you do a practice, every Sunday's Murli, Baba gives us homework. But are we serious about our homework? And he's only giving us a week to do it. And if we do it within the week, it would give us the same amount of power as if we did it from 2010 to now. Right? Don't you think? Okay, I didn't do it when he told me in November of 2010, but I want to do it now. He's telling me now, and I want to do it within a week. Don't you think? He said last, so fast, so first. That's what he means. But this week's homework is a little bit more intense because he wants us to do the 5 forms every hour, starting with 5 seconds and building to 5 minutes every hour, every waking hour. And he wants us to exercise the mind with it, for the mind to feel the specialty from the form, and for the mind to become strong, to become good, to become powerful through that practice. But the mind isn't just doing it with its thoughts, remember that. The mind isn't just creating thoughts from nowhere. The mind is creating an inner stage based on a form that it has to practice. And the thoughts emerge from the sanskaras that I experience through that form as the field from which thoughts arise. Got it? So are you going to do it tomorrow? 5 seconds, then 5 minutes. So you start off with 5 seconds at 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock, you improve
Didi,
it.
you mean 24 times we have to do it?
No, waking hours, I said.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Depends on how many hours you sleep. If you sleep whatever hours, this morning Baba says 4 to 6 hours is just good enough for Brahmins. And if you decide to get up at 2 tomorrow, you get some extra hours to do it. Right? Any questions before we close and you go into your meditation?
Om Shanti. You really clarified everything so beautifully. Completely clear vision of how we need to do it. So thank you so much. I mean, we were doing the 5-form practice, but it's so different when you break it down step by step and how we should do it.
Mm.
It really makes a difference. So thank you so much. And I'm gonna try to use this now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's good. Yeah.
You
And
clarified it quite a bit.
what he was also saying that was very beautiful when he was telling us to set the date, he was saying it's very difficult to do it collectively. So everyone may not agree to do it together, but he says that shouldn't stop you. You just do it individually. Don't wait for everybody else to say yes before you say yes. You just do it individually, he was saying.
Gayatri Ben,
Mm-hmm.
it's Sister Deborah here. I'm so thankful I never get the worship worthy form, and the way you described it and explained it, I got it, and I'm so thankful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Because it's now, right? It's now we have to serve those people. They just remember what we did now in the Copper Age, but it's now.
I always just thought of Al-Chakar and those golden idols looking out that little hole, to the 4 directions. I didn't know what worship worthy, what it looked like, and you really pinned it. Thank you.
Okay, good. I'm glad you got it. Anyone else?
Yes, I actually had a question.
Hiba, one. You're frozen. That was Hiba from Montreal. Are you back? You just froze. Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I guess I
Yes,
froze.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I had a question about the worthy of worship form. You mentioned something about duality, and I'm just curious. I understand that the effort that we do now and the service that we give to our devotees now is what is remembered. But can you talk a little bit more about the relationship between duality, what we do now, and that form?
Well, the form that you did, starting from the Copper Age to the Confluence Age, we're living in duality. So duality began, cause and effect of karma began from the Copper Age. Duality means we were living in the consciousness of being a soul and being a body. And gradually, we relinquished being souls completely and just saw ourselves as bodies and saw ourselves as the souls being part of the bodies. So, but the duality continued, the duality of being life that is mortal and being life that is immortal. Now, when we come to Baba, and Baba, let me just backtrack before I say that. During the Copper and Iron Ages, people, including ourselves, in wanting to find the truth, we started creating things from matter. And we started looking at those images from matter and started drawing on it and giving them a sense of an identity based on something in the very depths of our subconscious, that these were human beings who were perfect. These were human beings who helped us get the peace and the purity and the love and the hope and everything we wanted. They helped us, but they couldn't remember when. But they did remember that these were beings who helped them, and they wanted to invoke these beings again, but they gave them physical forms, right? In the Copper and Iron Ages. And that was the period of duality. Now, when we came to the confluence age, we're still living in duality, right? We're living with a promise of the golden age that is being created inside of us, and the external world of that iron age getting darker and darker. So we're living in the duality of what we're creating on the inside and what we're having to live out on the outside. And so, but Baba is saying this is the time you also have to sow the seeds of serving those souls who will be calling on you when duality happens again. Right? Because they're living in this iron age and they know things like peace and purity and love and all of that, which they want. And they're watching us live in this world of duality, but we're emerging out of the darkness and we're living more into the light. And that was what impacted them, that there are this group of souls who did it. And we observed them did it, but they just didn't do it for themselves. They turned around and helped us as well come out of the duality and moved into the light of soul consciousness and into the light, the remembrance of Baba, and into the light of the home and into the light of heaven. So that's how I see it. And so their last memories were, oh my God, these are souls that helped us tremendously to realize God. So when they came back in the copper age, what did they remember? When they started experiencing the duality of soul consciousness and body consciousness, they remembered those souls. But then they created the images of them. Did it make sense?
Yes, it does. So basically, we're helping them now, right? But they
Yes.
remember it. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
and we're helping them as we're helping ourselves.
Yeah.
So there's humility in us because we won't be able to help them if we weren't helping ourselves as well. So it happens together.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So maybe we stop now. I don't want to take away your meditation time from you. So unless there's one more question, otherwise we'll just move into meditation. All right.
Sister
So let's,
Gayatri,
yeah.
so you'll be hosting this class every week?
I am not hearing you, sister. Are you Vishali?
Yes, this is
Could you
Vishali.
speak up a little louder?
Yeah, I have a question. Do you host this class weekly once?
The review of the Murli?
Yes, yeah.
I don't do it weekly. I do it when I can. So I'm doing it this week and I'll do it next week. And then I won't be doing it again. But I think they post it. I mean, when I say I won't be doing it again for July, I'll start again in August. But I think they post it on the Telegram. Do they? Do they post a revision of the Murli? Arjun is saying yes.
They do the
So
review.
it is available on Telegram.
Oh,
Gayatri,
okay.
Ben, they used to post it, but now we don't see it. I mean, or they post it so late. By that time, the week is over.
Oh, but Avyakti Parivar, the team is saying to me, it's also in YouTube. Avyakti Parivar, could you come on and tell us where they can get it? Access to the review of the Murli?
In Avyakti Brahma Kumari's Avyakti Parivar channel, they can find Sister Gayatri's class on
Did you-
YouTube.
Yeah, but I want to get the opportunity to talk if I have any questions.
Oh, well, then you come on to this one. I'll be here again next week.
Every Tuesdays, yeah.
Yeah, I'm only with this group on Tuesday evenings when I review the Murli. I'm not with you again to ask questions. So this would be your opportunity.
Okay.
Or you could send your questions to me via Avyakti Parivar and I could answer them.
Oh, you have the email?
They have, Avyakti Parivar has an email, yeah, that you could contact me through.
Okay, is it a general email or is it specific to you?
It's general, but they know my specific one and they would forward it. Avyakti Parivar got their policies that they don't give out any other email of the ones who are doing, helping you to understand things. We all have to go through their general email and then they forward it to us.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. All right, so lots and lots of work to do this week, but Baba says he'll make it easy. Just say my Baba, and he will be there to help us and just chat with him at Amrit Vela. Okay? All right. Om Shanti, everyone. Let's
My Baba.
remember Baba.
Anjani and Gayatri.
Thank you.
स्वरूप है
शांति ही शांति है, प्रकाश पुंज का ये भंडार, हम आत्माएं यही पे रहते, यही हमारा है संसार।
Shanti, thank you.
Oh, Shanti, everyone.
Thank you.
Shanti, thank you, Gayatri.
Gracias. Thank you, Baba.